We begin our coverage in East Africa, where disturbing news has surfaced out of Ethiopia on the number of people that have been killed and wounded by security forces during anti-government protests. Human Rights Watch says at least 140 people in Ethiopia's Oromo state have been killed since November. But this number is far greater than what the government has confirmed. Now, the government has only confirmed 5 deaths since the protests began in November. A Human Rights Watch spokesman says that Ethiopian forces are treating demonstrators and opposition politicians with an iron fist, closing off ways that the protesters can express their grievances non-violently. The protesters have been demonstrating over plans by the government to develop farmland outside Addis Ababa into new business zone. Now, the protesters say the government's plan will lead to a loss of autonomy for Oromo people living on the outskirts of the capital. For some insight on this situation, I'm joined live via Skype from Atlanta, Georgia, by Jawar Mohammed, the director of the Oromo Media Network. Jawar, first, just help us understand, how did these demonstrations turn violent?
Well, the government came up with a plan that would displace some 2 million farmers from around Addis Ababa. And this was opposed by the farmers and the intellectuals, and the protests erupted in 2014. Then the government said, okay, we will come and discuss with you. When they came for discussion, people expressed they don't want this plan to take place. The government rejected that and started to implement it, so protests erupted again in November, and when people started to protest peacefully, the government began shooting, and the shooting enraged people, and nationwide people began protesting.
Now, Jawar, you know that the government has said that the protesters were extremist Oromo groups and armed gangs. Did those protesters at any moment, at any time, engage the government forces violently?
Not at all, not at any point. Remember, this protest is captured through media, through cell phones. It's been shared through Facebook, through Twitter, through YouTube. Not at any moment did the protesters engage the government in any form of violence. The farmers, the students, the business people, they protested with their holding their hand over their head. They were totally unarmed, and the government responded with armed violence.
Now, you know, Addis Ababa inevitably has to grow outwards. Is there any way that this can be done by the government in a way that the people of the Oromo region will be happy and satisfied?
People are not against the expansion of Addis Ababa per se. They are not against the development. What they are saying is you cannot grow a city by displacing and destroying our livelihood. The way this thing has been done is people are not given any compensation, and they are given very minimal compensation, the kind of compensation that cannot sustain their life even for a year. This has happened over and over again, and with this massive land scheme, the farmers will be left with nowhere else to go. And what the farmers are saying is, come up with a policy, come up with a development policy that will enrich us, that will take us with it, that will push us out of our land and leave us destitute.
So you're saying the government never really discussed with the leaders of the Oromo people and reached any agreement initially?
When they presented to the Oromo region administrators, the region opposed it. They say this plan does not help farmers. It endangers farmers. Remember, this is the ruling party. Members of the ruling party itself, they opposed it. They say this plan is not good. It encroaches on our autonomy. It endangers the lives of way too many people. This plan must be stopped. And when they did that, they overlooked that. They did not listen to them. And when it came to the public opposed it. The public demonstrated and opposed it. They still ignored that and continued to implement it.
Well, Jawar, thank you very much for your insights.
Thank you.
Well, Jawar Mohammed joined us live via Skype from Atlanta, Georgia.